going to take all of next week, though. I have been assured that come Sunday, June 30th, they will be done. I have already scheduled our third-party inspector to be back on Monday, July 1st, sign everything off, and we can get our paperwork to the architect and submit to OSF and get that scheduled. So I'm still hopeful for the week of the 4th. Obviously, I do not know OSF's schedule with the holiday, but I'm hoping that they will at least be available Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. We can get that scheduled. At the maximum, it would be the following week.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly. Any questions, board members? Thank you. Thank you. Next up, Mr. Saunders. Finance.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I would have tonight the standard board report. We've got the summary report, and the one thing you'll notice is we still don't have the revenue and lieu of taxes information. I've emailed the county treasurer's office this week, and they're telling me that we should have that information and that revenue received this week is what they told me. So,
Okay.
So stay tuned on that. Everything, once we get that revenue in place, all the other revenue items, you can see are most of it are 100%. Some of them that haven't been received yet, is, business as usual. And once we get that revenue in lieu of taxes figure, if it comes in good, we'll be really good, in really good shape on the revenue side. And if you look at the expenditure summary by function, you can see on the bottom line, the ideal remaining percent would be 8%, which would be 1 month remaining. We've got 17% left, but we have to do the summer payroll, the accrual payrolls yet, and so we're planning on processing those soon. And once we get those processed, then they'll kind of true up for the year. But it looks in line with the previous year, so it looks like we're right on point on the expenditure side. But I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions, board members? Good question. Thank you, Mr. Saunders. It looks great. Thank you. Mr. Martin, facilities.
Ms. Hughes, it's my turn. It's Human Resources now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You want to
Okay.
follow it?
Yeah, I did.
I know Mr. Martin's
I
anxious
saw
to
your
get up
name in
there,
this. You're right. Sorry, Mr. Martin.
and you won't have to change the minutes in the agenda.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Martin. I know you were excited.
I saw Jeff's name and was thinking he was superintendent report. He's our HR tonight.
All right, so we are on second reading. We have 2 sets of policies that we're going through. The first set, these were brought to us from the auditors who are doing a interim audit on our finances right now. They brought to our attention policy DID, policies GCD and GDD, which have to do with inventories, professional staff, vacations and holidays, and support staff vacations and holidays. This is the second reading, and we need to go ahead and make a motion to approve this tonight.
All right. Board members, last month we talked about going into our policy and changing our policy from 3 readings to 2, but after going into the policies, policy BG that has not been updated does state that it is required for 2 readings. So we're good tonight to go ahead. We had already agreed to do these tonight in 2 readings because Mr. Beckwith and staff do need these completed tonight. So at this time, policy DID, inventory and fixed assets, GCD, professional staff vacancies and holidays, and GDD, support staff vacations and holidays, we need a motion to approve these tonight.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve DID, GCD, and GDD tonight.
Okay. Do we have a second? A motion has been made by Ms. Enfinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges, to approve these 3 policies tonight, final reading. All in favor? Any more comments or questions first? All in favor, please raise your right hand. They are approved.
Great, thank you. And then the second set, this is the second reading for these as well, so we'll need to make a motion on these. But these have to do with our safety plans. You have policy EBCB, and then you have EBCB, which just goes in depth, dash R, which goes in depth with those plans. And then you have the documentation that goes with that. Really what this does is standardizes the forms across the district, so we're consistent with our testing, and we do it, the schools do it, but how it's reported sometimes comes back in different ways. This just standardizes it, make sure everybody's doing it the same way, but this has been a common practice here, and the principals do a great job making sure it happens. Mr. Martin with following up, but this would be a motion item.
Okay. We do need a motion to approve these tonight, and for those here tonight, this is dealing with safety issues throughout our schools, and how many times a year that we do emergency evacuations, fire drills, lockdown drills, active shooter, just to give you an update so you'll know what we're talking about. Very important safety policies, and this is our second reading tonight, so if we can get a motion to approve these.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve EBCB, EBCB-R, EBCB-E1, EBCB-E2 policies.
Okay. Do we have a second? Second. A motion has been made by Ms. Sinfinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges. Are there any further questions or comments? All in favor, please raise your right hand. They are approved. Thank you.
Thank you. The next meeting, we'll start with those 5 new ones on the first reading
Thank
and
you.
get into that cycle.
Great. Now, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, good evening. And I believe this is Mr. Saunders' last board meeting, if I'm correct.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure, I know
It
he's
sure-
been to board meetings. There's probably 300 in his life.
But he won't be going too far.
not too
Right.
far. We will miss you.
Will be
And thank
missed.
you for all you've done.
All right, our summer project work's underway at all locations. Some exciting news. Facilities hired 7, not 8. We had one person not show up. And I think 3 people in technology for summer work, and they're students from Woodland High School. And the ones for facilities, they went through the whole process. They filled out an application, they came to interviews, and they were offered a job.
That's great.
So they're working under supervision of one of our team members, Coach Elsie Harrison. And their duties, they're at schools right now. They're at Williams Memorial, moving out classrooms so the floor maintenance folks can work. And they're coming behind moving. They'll be the ones moving the 2 middle schools into the new school. So they have plenty of work to do. And so far, they're working out great. We hope to extend this program larger next year.
It's wonderful.
Very exciting news. June 24th, our facilities condition assessment team is coming in. And this is going to be a quick but large undertaking, which is going to really help out our capital forecasting in facilities. So they're going to be QR coding, photographing, doing assessments with life cycles, and entering all this data into our asset management system. So it's going to grow exponentially over the summer. So this information is really going to help us with capital forecasting and capital needs projects in the future. We're going to move forward with a project out here on the bus lot. We're going to put RFID badges on vehicles. So when the buses drive up, the gates will automatically open. They don't have to code in or get out and do that. So that's an exciting little project. The secured entry at Odyssey is up and running. So it's got the fencing around the front. It's got access control and a camera out there. And there's lists of a bunch of summer work projects, and that's only touching on what we've got going on and what we've got planned to do. Any questions?
Any questions, board members? This is a great report. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Superintendent report. Mr. Beckwith.
Thank you. First thing you got on superintendent's report, discussion about salary increases for teachers. We're going to take that into executive session because there's just a lot of details that need to be discussed and just a lot of details. One of those being, anytime it's been common practice here in this district, as it should be, that when we increase salaries for some, we should really increase salaries for all, because everybody in this
Great.
district deserves it. So trying to balance it and make it work is quite an undertaking. So we're going to discuss that a little bit more later on with some more details for you. State Department assessment that we've been going through, filled you all in about this a couple months ago. Thompson Turner is the group we're working with. They've come in, done the assessment. They were great. They were quick, efficient, provided a report. We submitted that report to the State Department. We got feedback pretty soon, within a week or two, from the State Department. Our request was rather high. We went with what Thompson Turner suggested, but unfortunately, General Assembly hasn't given as much money to the state for capital projects, so they're not able to do as much as they had hoped. So they asked us to refine our application, so we resubmitted it, and kind of waiting to hear back from them, but they have been quick and efficient. Spoke with Virgie Chambers for a while, and hopefully the State Department's moving right now into a new building, so there are some delays. But I will say, as we're going through the process, as we know, when we started, or when we got the referendum for $35 million for the middle school, and when we started the middle school, the actual construction, we were about $40 million. And since then, it's continued to increase, so we're almost about $10 million over on that project, money that we didn't really have as a district. But the State Department is extremely impressed by how our finance department has been able to maneuver and manage our money to offset that difference. And Virgie with State Department just couldn't believe how we were able to close in on that. So that's a testament to this group. And like Mr. Martin said, Mr. Saunders leaving, he's done a lot of great work to make sure we're in the right place, and he's turned things over in good shape, and we appreciate that, Mr. Saunders. We have some things going on with some reissuing of bonds that we'll hopefully get into later on this summer, and covering that difference with that middle school has really tied our hands when it came to our capital improvement money. And so Mr. Martin's been working on a pretty small budget, trying to make sure projects are being done. So this money from the State Department, hopefully that comes through here soon, and then as we go through this reissuance of the bonds, we can get a little bit of money here to really start doing larger projects in the district that we've been waiting on, so then they need to be done. But both departments have done a great job keeping up with where we are and keeping these buildings up to speed. And again, the State Department was really impressed by how we're doing. Our buildings are have put some years on, I'll say, but they're in good shape, and they serve a great purpose and a great facility for our students. We just want to make sure we're being proactive with our work and not just reactive to fixes here and there. Next update, Kelly Services. We're actually a team at the district levels meeting with Kelly Service representatives on Thursday. We have a 4-hour meeting with them to go through a lot of steps and a lot of processes that we'll be taking on. They have established dates to start bringing in our current substitutes that are on board with us now to get them enrolled in Kelly Services and make sure they don't have any questions and make the process as easy as possible for them. They have about 8 sessions they're going to provide for those substitutes that are already on the books, and then we'll bring on new ones. And so we're excited about that. We've been providing a lot of information to them, and so this is the real beginning of that process will be on Thursday. District hiring update. We hear about shortages with teachers. I get a lot of questions about that. Channel 5 News will ask me, Channel 4 News. Right now, we are short 4 certified teaching positions in the district. Some of those come from people who are doing last-minute moves to other districts. But when you hear about 100 vacancies and 200 vacancies that we hear in other districts, ours are pretty minimal. We have a number of postings. Some of those postings are just repostings of current positions we have, just because you have to go through that process. When you're consolidating 2 middle schools into 1 middle school, you have to post those positions for coaching. Some of our postings have to do with caseloads with special ed. We're in compliance. However, if we could reduce caseloads a little bit for our teachers' sake to be able to provide better services, we'll do that. However, we're compliant with our numbers. And then additional programs that we're looking at possibly bringing into the district. However, that's not going to affect our everyday run of the programs that we currently have. So pretty good shape, and we'll keep working to fill those other positions. I feel confident we'll make that happen. And then summer school, we started last Monday. We have a number of employees, current employees of the district working that. We've also brought in some of our high school students to work that program as well as a TA, teacher assistant type position. We have a couple of graduating seniors who have also come and worked that program. And then we have summer feeding students, students working the summer feeding program. So all in all, we have about 20 students that in years past we've outsourced those services to other companies. But we're able to provide that money to our students here in district, which is the way it should be. We should pay our students. So excited about that, and then excited about the teacher prep program that we're trying to bring to Woodland High School, and partnering with Trident Tech, and how we can push some of our students here into classrooms in our district for work-based learning opportunities here in our district, which will be an exciting opportunity for our students. And the summer school's going well. We have a few hundred students in there. Transportation, everybody working transportation has been rock stars. When you're throwing a lot of new addresses at bus drivers, the first day is a little tricky, and then they adjust on the fly and they make it work. So great job to transportation, food service. Summer feedings, providing all the meals for our students here at Woodland High School is fourth grade through 12th grade, and then Harleyville Elementary is kindergarten through 3rd grade, which is more that reading camp style program down there. So everybody's doing a great job. LaTorsha Bryan is spearheading that as the lead administrator. She's the assistant principal at the new Woodland Middle School. So she's really taken the lead on that, done a great job with the planning process. But a number of people who have developed the curriculum, contractual groups coming in to work with our students, and just a lot of entities involved in it, and it's been great so far. And that's all I have. We got one last thing. Out-of-state field trip. This was new. This was added on last minute. You all approved this, but one of our students, who is an officer, a national officer, needed to go up a couple days early, and then we need to make sure we provide a chaperone for that student. So that just changes things a little bit. So what you see here, when you see a number of students, one, that's why. The other students are going up 2 days later, and just like y'all approved last month, I believe. But we want to make sure we're just doing it right with this student and making sure we're going through the process, and we have the chaperone and the student there ready to go for that national conference in Seattle, Washington. So this would be a motion item for you all.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Beckwith. We did approve this trip, like Mr. Beckwith said, last month, but our national president, Peter Smith, has to go a couple of days early, so that's what this is about, and he has truly served Woodland High School this year. We're so proud of Peter for what all he's done to be the national president. This is amazing. So this is an action item that we will need approved for him to go a couple of days earlier than the other students.
Madam Chairwoman, make a motion, we approve the field trip request of adding one student.
Do we have a second? Motion has been made by Mr. Folks, seconded by Dr. Hodges. Are there any further questions? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you.
Thank
That
you.
is
Just a
approved.
side note on this program, the FCCLA, and all of our leadership-based programs that we have here. I told Mr. Lake, and I think it was the senior dinner, it was so impressive to see a group of students that we have, the senior class, the leaders that are coming out of this group. I don't know if I've seen a group, we have leaders here and there, but to watch that young group of men and women just take on that leadership role with everything and take the initiative on planning of different programs. So much of it comes down to these opportunities they've been provided with these field trips to go nationally, with the ag program. The parents help considerably, but it's just, the collective whole process has really been amazing to see the students and the end result this year with how they just carried themselves and how they ran programs and initiated programs and just handled themselves and presented themselves in a way that would be, it's just so impressive and so great for Woodland High School and our community. So I just wanted to throw that in there, that we see a lot of these come through, and it's a lot to it, and but it's great. Kudos to the high school, Ms. Lewis, who really spearheads a lot of these things here at this school.
She's done a great job, and the graduation was wonderful. I've heard so many people out in the Piggly Wiggly and in the community talk about the graduation, just beautiful graduation this year, which I felt, the last few years have been beautiful on that ball field, but for this year, like you said, the students that were the leaders and the ones that got up and spoke, they just did a great job.
From, I think, baccalaureate on Sunday night all the way down senior night athletic banquet. Even going back, we were at the adult ed with some of our little older folks going through that program. It was just really a good week and a half, and but it was so much of it was spearheaded by our students, and I think that's why it was so great.
And I'm so glad to hear that our students are working this summer instead of giving those jobs out, outsourcing them out of our district. That's amazing. That's wonderful for these kids to have that opportunity.
And those
So-
students have taken some serious initiative, coming in dressed for the part, interviews, emailing and being on top of us, making sure we don't drop the ball and keeping things rolling. So they've been great. A lot of things to be proud of with our students here.
A lot
for
to
sure.
do. But thank you, Mr. Beckwith. Was that
Thank
all
you.
that you needed?
That's it.
All right. Well, it is at this time that the board will take a motion to go in executive session to discuss personnel report, the salary increases for teachers, and legal matter. And then we will come out back in open session to vote on any action taken. So at this time, we will entertain a motion to go in executive session.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to go into executive session at this time.
Okay, second? Motion has been made by Ms. Infinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges. Please raise your hand. All in favor? Thank you.